Yo, peace was good. We'll get to another hip hop album review. This is part 140. The album that I'll be reviewing today is MC Ren's second album, The Villain in Black, released in 1996. Alright? You guys should know who MC Ren is. You know, he was part of N.W.A at one point. And I did a review of his first album, Shock of the Hour. Definitely check that out when you guys get a chance. You guys can check it out right after you see this review, or before, whatever you guys want to do. You know, he dropped in '92. He dropped "Kiss My Black Ass" EP, which I do have to get my hands on. And in 1993, he came out with "Shock of the Hour." Love that fucking album. I need to get my hands on "Kiss My Black Ass" EP, and as well as "Rooftops for Life," his 1998 album. I need to get my hands on that, but it's kind of hard. They're kind of hard to find. But anyway, enough of that. In 1994, his friend DJ Train, who was featured on the "Shock of the Hour" album, had died. He got killed in a house fire. His house got burned and stuff like that. He was in it, unfortunately, so he was killed from that. And to add matters worse, you know, Eazy-E, his longtime friend, had died of AIDS in 1995. But before that, MC Ren had recorded a song called "The Motherfucking Real," which was featured on Eazy-E's second album, Straight Off the Streets of Motherfucking Compton, which I have to do a review on. But I have to go pick up Eazy-E's Eazy Does It album, which I need to get my hands on, which I will get eventually. Yeah, so right after that, so in between of that album, he was recording new material, and that material ended up becoming this album right here, The Villain in Black, alright? This album has two singles. The singles are Mad Scientist and Keep It Real. Those are the two singles of the album. Alright, you know how I get down, go through some of the producers. Well, let me show you guys the album, what the album looks like. That's what the album looks like. You see MC Ren chilling in the darkness and stuff like this, dwelling right there, you know what I'm saying? Pretty dope. Have his hands out like that. Alright, open the CD. That's what the album looks like right here, the actual CD. See MC Ren having his hand out and stuff like that. Same thing, just without the lettering and stuff like that. And I saw something today, I thought that was pretty cool. If you guys give me 1 second. I don't know if you guys can see this, I have to put this in the light. Shit. I don't know if you can see it, but over here it says "Ruthless for Life." You can't really see it that good because of the lighting and stuff like that. And then right here it says Eric is listening. You could kind of see a little bit of it. Eric is listening. I thought that was pretty cool. Alright. So, you know, I thought that was pretty cool, man. I just saw that today, so yeah, sorry about that. Sorry for the room, fucking messy as shit, I know. Don't judge me. So, yeah, so that's what the picture looks like. Well, this is the back, you know what I mean? That's what the back looks like. See MC Ren just mean mugging right here. MC Ren dwelling in the dark. The album cover, you know what I mean? Pretty cool pictures right here. Alright, the features on the album, it's very minimal, thank God. The features are J Rock, Cole 187. Who else? J Rock again. 187. Cole 187. KMG. The Above the Law and Trigger Man. Those are the features. Producers on the album. Producers are Cole 187, and then that's how it's pronounced. Dr. Jam, who was actually featured on his first album, the Shock of the Hour album. Man is for Real. Dr. Jam, as I mentioned before. Big Jess Willard. And those are pretty much the producers of the album. Code 187, he does the majority of the production, so it kind of changes the sound compared to the first album, which I'll get into later on at the end of the video and stuff like that. So those are the producers of the albums. So I already mentioned um, the features, the singles and stuff like that. All right. So you know how I get down and break through some of the tracks. All right. All right. So let me open it up so I can see the features better. All right. Track one, bitch made nigga killer. Um, Definitely sets the tone of the album. Pretty cool right there. And it just talks about how he takes shots at cats in the hip hop game as well in the hood that try to act like something they're not, trying to be like gangsters and shit like that. But but deep down inside they're not that person. You know what I mean? So he kind of takes shots at them and stuff like that. I thought that was pretty cool right there. Yeah, man, just like it's just so dope, man. I mean, MC Ren, he fucking delivers. He's definitely one of my favorite MCs out of the West Coast. I mean, just like the way he flows, his flow, his lyricism, he's just so fucking dope right there. Bitch Made Nigga Killer, that's the name of the song. That was produced by Code 187. Track 2, Keep It Real, which they have a video for. This is the second and final single of the album. Pretty cool right there. He talks about how in the album, he talks about in the song how like just be yourself, be true to yourself. It's very important, especially in the 90s. Back in the 80s and 90s, that was very important back in the day. Just you being true to yourself. Just spit what you know. You know what I mean? Don't try to play this facade. And he also talks about how the radio stations kind of support this bullshit. You know what I mean? And that's definitely relatable because you hear that shit all the time on in the radios and shit. Like I've been listening to the radio. I mean, that's how bad hip hop is now. You know what I mean? Even though there's dope hip hop out, but you just gotta look. But just the state of hip hop right now is not that good. I don't care what nobody says. Track 3 is Like That featuring J Rock. That was actually pretty cool. I actually like the beat for that right there. That song right there, it just talks about how you kind of have to have tough skin being in the music industry as well as in the hood, or not even just the hood, but just in the real world, because because people will take advantage of you, and that's what he talks about in this song. Keep it it's like that. You know what I mean? So it's just that's how life is, man. Like you just gotta have tough skin. You just gotta learn how to be assertive. That's definitely relatable, because at the one point, not to say that I was not to say that I was a pushover, but not in a sense, like I had people bully me around at one point when I was young, but then you just had to fight back, and then niggas won't fuck with you. You know what I'm saying? And I had to go through that with certain jobs too, like certain managers and stuff like that would try to push me around, but then I would kind of like bite back, like, yo, don't fuck with me, not in those words, but like, yo, you're not gonna do this to me, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like the same thing where it's like that, so that song is definitely hits home with me because I could relate to that shit right there. Track 4, Mad Scientist. There's a pretty cool beat right there. It's kind of basic. It has like a bass line, like a dog synth bass line. Doom, 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 doom. Pretty cool. But then it has like some light synth notes and stuff like that in the background. I thought that was pretty cool. That song, he's actually talked about like the way the game is nowadays, how the radio stations it's kind of the same thing with Keep It Real, and it's like that in a sense where it's talked about how the radio stations don't support real hip hop, just supporting this garbage that's out and stuff like that. Well, back then, garbage back then was dope, but I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah, it's just about how the radio stations don't support real music and stuff like that. So but honestly, I would rather have the garbage music back then compared to the music now, because the music now just like Slim Jesus. I mean, come on. I mean, don't even get me started with that shit. But that was pretty much the whole basis of the song right there. Track 5, Live from Compton Saturday Night. Compton Saturday Night. kind of a play on the Uptown, Live from Uptown Saturday Night, kind of a play on with that. Um, the song kind of starts off with Call 187 or Hutch, calling MC Ren, like those messages when people leave a message when it says, "Hey, what's up?" You talk to them, you think you're talking to them, but then it's like, "Oh, leave a message." I fucking hate when people do that shit. Well, he did that with MC Ren, did that to him, so I fucking hate when cats do that. But anyways, after that, after he's Cole 187 called MC Ren, he's like, "Yo, pick up." So MC Ren actually picks up the phone, just saying like, "Yo, it's Saturday night, what's good? What you doing?" Like, "Yo, I'm bored." Da da da. Everybody could relate to that. And he's just like, "Yo, I'm tired, man." It's like, "Yo, I just been in the studio all night, just recording some music." And like, "Yo, come on, man. Like, yo, it's Saturday. Let's get some bitches, some hoes, and things like that. You know what I mean? Go out drinking and stuff like that." So, and then MC Ren wasn't really trying to hear that. I was like, "Yo, man, I'm really tired. I'm not really trying to hear that." And then before MC Ren, Cole 187 or Hutch, had to try to talk more. MC Ren just hung up on him. He was like, "Yo, how the fuck is this nigga hung up on me?" So after that, it's just them just going back and forth and stuff like that. Very dope chemistry between them two. Pretty cool. Dope beat too as well. Yeah, Hutch, he's definitely a dope MC as well as a producer as well. Pretty dope right there. Track 6, Still the Same Nigga. Definitely one of my favorite tracks off the album. Self-explanatory. That was produced by Big Jess. With that song, he actually talked about how he's still the same nigga from the hood. He hasn't changed. The music industry hasn't changed me. And you can tell just by some of the shit that he talks about with the album, what in the first couple of songs and stuff like that. He's saying like, "I'm still the same nigga. The industry hasn't changed. The fame hasn't changed me. I'm still the same dude from the hood," and things like that. And I like how they incorporated the sample from Same Old Shit when he used one of the lines, "I'm still the same nigga," off the Same Old Shit from the Shock of the Hour album as well. I thought that was pretty cool how they use that sample as well. I thought that was pretty cool, and the beat is dope as well. Fucking love that joint right there. Track 7, I Don't Give a Damn. Another dope song. Another of my favorite tracks off the album. It's just pretty much talking about how the government and cops have no respect for the blacks in the black community and stuff like that, and things like that. Definitely relatable today because just the fucking nonsense cops are doing today with killing black people and stuff like that. I mean, you see it on the news all the time. Like, it's just so crazy, and it's getting worse and worse and worse. And just saying how you expect us to have respect for law enforcement and the government, but they do the shit that they do the shit to black people as well as other minorities. But in this case, he's talking about black people and stuff like that. So that's definitely relatable. So, and I'm not really too fond of cops. Some cops are cool. Most of them could eat a dick. That's just my opinion. But love the beat for that song right there. I Don't Give a Damn. Definitely very fitting to that song, and the subject matter pretty cool. Track 8, Mind Blown. It's pretty much a very laid back song right there. Intro, Cole White, Hutch. He's just talking in the background and stuff like that. J-Rock, is it? No, I'm sorry. Yeah, J-Rock and MC Ren, they kind of go back and forth. MC Ren, he has like the first 2 verses. He does the first 2 verses, and J-Rock does the last verse and stuff like that. Very laid back joint right there. Just talks about how just spitting lyricism, just going in right there. Like, but he does it in a very laid back kind of flow and stuff like that. I thought that was pretty cool. The beat was a little bit too laid back for me, especially for MC Ren, because the lyrics were dope. I just wish the beat was a little bit more aggressive, in my opinion, or just a different beat. But that's just my opinion. Track 9, Great Elephant. Definitely one of my favorite tracks. to me one of the standout tracks of the album, as well as the Still the Same Nigga, I Don't Give a Damn. He's pretty much using the song the elephant, the animal, as a kind of like the metaphor of him being like the best MC in the game, you know what I'm saying? But he's using the elephant as a metaphor, and I thought that was pretty cool. Very clever how he did that too. In the background, I mean, love the beat for that joint right there. And in the background, you hear like, you know, the MC, you hear an elephant just stomping, just boom boom, and then you hear the elephant roaring in the background throughout the whole song. I thought that was pretty cool, but it's not annoying. It kind of fits the song, if that makes sense. It's not like in your face. I could understand if like in your face, but it's like very faint. It's very solid. You know, not solid, but it's faint. So you can hear it, but not barely. You know what I'm saying? Unless you play it loud and stuff like that. But yeah, very dope song right there. Track 10. Muhammad Speaks. We just talked about Khalid Muhammad, who at one point was part of the Nation of Islam, but got kicked out. They Professor Grift his ass, so to speak. You know what I mean? And he ended up becoming the chairman for the new Black Panther Party. And then he eventually died back in 2001 due to a brain aneurysm. But with the song, it's a skit. It's just him speaking over instrumental that Hutch made and stuff like that, but just sort of about how the importance of Black history and just talk about Black history and stuff like that. So it's about the importance of Black people and things like that. I thought that was pretty cool. And track 11, Bring It On, featuring Above the Law and Trigger Man, was a posse cut. Pretty dope way to end the album, and pretty cool right there. And that's pretty much it, man. My synopsis of the album: very dope album. Give me 1 second, let me get some water. Very dope album in my opinion. Very underrated in my opinion. Definitely not as good as Shock of the Hour, but it's actually holds its own. You know, because for what I understand, based on what I read based on what I researched before doing this review, and like just, you know, doing some research and stuff like that, a lot of people were kind of shitting on this album because, you know, people wanted MC Ren to keep doing like kind of like the social political stuff that he was doing throughout the first album, which he was doing. But I don't think it was that. I think it was the production is what kind of turned people off, because I guess people wanted a part 2 of Shock of the Hour, but you didn't really get that with this album. You kind of did, but I just think the production was different. I think that's what people was kind of bitching about. So in other words, this was MC Ren's Lethal Injection, like the same thing with Ice Cube, which I did a review on Lethal Injection, how like a lot of people was kind of dissing Ice Cube because, you know, he was doing like the G-Funk style, but, you know, Ice Cube was talking about the same stuff, but it's just like with the first 3 albums, just not as much. You know, he was starting to go into more gangster style, but he was doing the more political shit too. You know what I mean? But yeah, but people didn't really understand that. But I don't know. I thought they were pretty dope, man. Yeah, man, very, very dope album. Like I said, to me, the standout tracks, in my opinion, are Still the Same Nigga, I Don't Give a Damn, Great Elephant, and probably Keep It Real and It's Like That. It's Like That and Life from Compton Saturday Night. Those are my favorite tracks off the album. The rest are dope, but like I said, if you guys don't like G-Funk music, then you probably won't like this album. But not all the songs are G-Funk. You do got some stuff that doesn't sound G-Funkish, but just like how dark this album is. Very dope, very underrated, like I said. This album goes for a little bit of money online, kind of hard to find. I've seen it go for as low as, I've seen it go for like $14.99. I've seen it go for $20. I've seen it go for as much as $100. You know what I mean? Online, it's crazy. I got lucky and I got this album through a hip hop lot. I think I showed you guys that in my CD collection. Don't remember which one I did, but definitely give this album a chance. It's not as bad as people put it out to be. It's a good album. But like I said, I think Shock of the Hour is a better album than this album. just because of the production. It's just like how angry he was in the album. Um, and then like I said, you gotta remember too, like MC Ren, he went through some tragic times, with the loss of his two friends, close friends, Eazy-E and DJ Train. So but yeah, man, if you guys like Shock of the Hour, you'll like this album. It's just not as, it's just the production is a little bit different. It just kind of went, it's different in a sense. It's kind of like more a dark, laid back funk, if that makes sense. But like I said, it's like that. Still the same nigga. I don't give a damn. Great Elephant. Those are my favorite tracks. Saturday Night as well is my favorite tracks right there. I forgot to show you guys this too. It shows R.I.P. Eric Wright, Eazy-E. But yeah, man, if you can find this album, definitely pick it up. That's it, folks. And then too, as well, it came out in '96, so around that time, I believe, Tupac came out with All Eyes on Me and stuff like that, and a couple other albums came out in '96. So this album kind of went, under the radar. It just kind of went, dust in the wind kind of thing. You know what I mean? It just kind of went over people's heads and stuff like that. So, but yeah, like I said, if you like, West Coast mid '90s hip hop, definitely check it out. If you can find it, definitely pick it up. And that's it, folks. I rambled on too long. Hope you guys enjoyed the rest of your Sunday evening or afternoon, I should say. That's it, folks. Peace.